Hi, I'm Dr. Giovanni Rondo, local internal medicine physician and host of Healthy Mind, Body, and Spirit, where we strive to improve the wellness of our entire world and with a particular focus on the local African American community here in the Kentuckiana area. Today I want to talk about something that all of us are experiencing, or I should say the majority of us are experiencing these days, and that is stress. A lot of stress. We're experiencing a healthcare crisis in the form of a pandemic caused by the novel COVID-19 virus. Because of this, our lives have been turned upside down, to say the least. We are experiencing economic changes affecting our ability to live as we once did, fearful of job losses, changes, unemployment, underemployment, retirement issues, just so many different things. The presidential elections and the general political divide or divisions have added to our stressors. Last but certainly not least, are the obvious examples of police brutality, leading to the deaths of numerous African Americans, which in and of itself have led to worldwide protests. And much more can be said, about that, that last issue. But we're just all dealing with so much stress. So we may not be able to completely control the issues with stress, but we can alter our response to these stressful events and hopefully reduce the harmful effects of stress on the body, mind, and spirit. And that's really what I want to talk about today. As you can imagine, as an internal medicine physician, or just as a physician just in general, I deal with, different physiologic issues that has to deal with the body. And, but stress is one of the main things. Stress a lot of times causes us to overeat, drink things that maybe we shouldn't be drinking, smoke things that maybe we shouldn't be smoking, and just participate in different activities that just are not as optimal for our overall health. So it's very important for me as a physician to talk about those things, to talk about the issues that can contribute to other medical problems overall. So I just felt it, very strongly to talk about stress at this time. I know I felt it just in my overall life, going to medical school, dealing with some of the things that I dealt with in medical school, taking care of sick parents, the death of loved ones for myself. Just so many different things have come up. Relationship issues, money issues, moving here and there. So I think we all go through different things, but I think that what's going on now, just for me, I just wanted to just come on and just talk about ways that we can really deal with the stressors for such a time as this. I truly believe that one of the things I like to say is the people who are closest to the problem are closest to the solution. And so if you are dealing with a lot of stress and issues, I believe that there's certain things that you can possibly do to help with that. And so I want to go ahead and give you actually 7 different things or ways that can help you to deal with stressors. First, before I do that, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about stress and how it affects the body. So certain chemicals are secreted when your body is under stress. Like when an animal or a tiger were to run in here now, going to chase me, my body is going to secrete certain substances. It's going to increase my heart rate, increase the chemicals going to overall my body, so I'll run out of here and pretty much like a fight or flight. Scenario or phenomenon that we talk about. This is essential for our survival, especially from the perspective of, traditionally like our ancestors. We don't have to deal with, running from tigers for the most part, but our body just doesn't distinguish between running from a tiger versus being upset about an election. So it's still going to secrete the same substances. The constant releasing of these chemicals is really the harmful thing. It's okay if it's, short periods of time to release these substances, but for chronic, long term, it really is very detrimental to our overall body, to the point where it affects our heart. It can affect our blood vessels, decreasing the flexibility of our blood vessels, increasing our risk for heart attacks and strokes. We have a decreased ability to fight off infections, decreased ability to focus, to sleep, to regulate our blood sugars, increasing our risk for diabetes, which is a whole nother topic in and of itself, increases our muscle tension, tightness, increases the risk for, back pain, headaches, different aches and pains in the body, increases our risk for respiratory ailments. We don't breathe as well. Increases our risk or issues with gastrointestinal problems like ulcers, gastritis, or inflammation of the stomach, indigestion, bowel problems, just a plethora or numerous different issues that can occur when you're more stressed. And really, gosh, at this time, that's all we need is more health problems on top of the health issues that we have. So, like I mentioned before, I just want to give you a few stress reduction tips that I know that I use or try to utilize for myself, and also what I give in my general practice with the Global MD practice that I have. And even before, when I practiced, I would give out tips, stress reduction tips, about, I think it was 25 to 27 different tips. I'm not going to give you that many today because I want to kind of make this nice and concise. But I've always felt like it was very useful, not only to give it, the stress reduction tips, but to also utilize them for myself. So here goes. So the number one stress reduction tip is to exercise. Now, I know it's like, okay, yes, you're a doctor and talking about exercise, but it is vitally important. If you don't even necessarily exercise, but to just move more. Even just a little bit goes a long way. It allows you to let off steam, release those endorphins that help you to feel good, feel better. It helps you literally to release that stress. Excuse me. And over time, it actually gives you more energy overall. A lot of times stress, when it comes into your life, over time, it just causes you to feel very, very fatigued, very depleted. And I know it sounds kind of weird to talk about exercise when you're tired, depleted, fatigued. But if you could just do just a little bit, get the other things that you need, but it does help you in the long run to really, truly get that, the stressors off, but to get that energy back also. So the number one thing to do for stress is regular exercise or some type of physical activity. And like I said, you don't have to think of it like exercise. Dance, clean your house, just move, walk your dog, just find something to do. Or let your dog walk you. The number two thing that you can do to help you to deal with stress is to get at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep at night or per day, just depending on your schedule, as an adult. It may be a little bit different for children, a little bit longer for children, and it depends on how physically active you are, and also have any ailments or whatnot. You may need to sleep a little bit longer, maybe a little bit less, but generally it's between 7 and 9 hours for adults on average. This time is so essentially important because it allows you to repair yourself, to recover, to relax. And that's so vitally important for our internal organs to get themselves back together. You are up and about throughout the whole day. And nighttime, or when you go to sleep, is the time that your body needs to repair itself. When you don't get enough sleep, you increase your risk for not being able to fight off infections. I remember when I was younger, hardly ever got sick. When I would get sick, it's when I wasn't sleeping very much, like when I was on call for long periods of time, or just my call was very extended. When I was working the night shift, when I was in residency, and just remember just getting a little bit more ill during certain times. And that was when I was, younger and at probably my optimal health back then. So it's that much more important, for us as we, age to get our good night's sleep, a good restorative, restful sleep. And if you have conditions like sleep apnea, particularly if it's undiagnosed, that could truly affect your true sleep that you're getting overall. So please see your doctor about that. The number 3 stress reduction tip that I advise is deep breathing. Yes, deep breathing. That's so vitally important to practice this, particularly when you're in a stressful situation. That whole saying, count to 10, kind of like that, count to 10, taking nice deep breaths in, very slow in and very slow out, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And that truly does help to provide more oxygen to essential areas like the brain, your lungs, of course, and then also the heart. Absolutely essential for proper functionality. So please take in those nice deep breaths, particularly when you're under stressful situations. I would say take about a minute to do so, and then keep moving on. That is essential. When you're in stressful situations, writing in a journal actually really does help. It allows you to physically put those stressors in writing, putting it down, literally kind of releasing it and letting it go. It provides an outlet. And it allows you to actually focus on the issue to then allow it to be released somewhat. So writing in a journal really does help. I know I write in a journal. Actually, it's a gratitude journal that I write with my daughter. And it really does help. It actually knocks out 2 birds with 1 stone. Practice gratitude, and then we also are writing in a journal. And that is something that I share with my daughters. So that really is beneficial for us as well. The 5th stress reduction tip that I advise is laughter. It's finding humor in your everyday life. Try to find something that you can laugh about, that's funny. Watch a funny movie, laugh at yourself. Find jokes online, books, just something to laugh about. I used to have a former patient who every time he would come in, he would bring me a joke that he had cut out from the paper. And so I knew when I saw him on the schedule that I was gonna laugh that day. So just seeing his name just would always bring a smile to my face, and I think about him now and how important that was. And we say, in a way, laughter is the best medicine, and it truly was. So it was interesting for a gentleman to come in and bring me medicine per se as a doctor. So that was really neat. When you laugh, you actually secrete, and really hearty laugh, a true laugh, not one of those fake ones, but a true laugh releases the endorphins. That's a feel-good substance for your body. So that's important. So try to find something to laugh about. I know it's hard in this day and age, but gotta find something. The number 6 stress reduction tip that I advise is reading a book or a magazine. Both are relaxing and also stimulating at the same time. It can take you to a different world, but you can also focus on a particular topic. But it's just really important to keep your mind active but also somewhat relaxed at the same time. I know that there's a lot of different things going on in the world, a lot of things on, social media, and just a lot of different things to get into, be distracted. But sometimes if you can just really focus on maybe one thing, and that could really be very beneficial for your overall health. You know how they say that reading is fundamental? Well, let's break that word down. Fun, F-U-N, D-A, mental. So it's fun while it's helping your mental state. Get it? Fundamental. So reading is fundamental. And then the last thing is pray. The last stress reduction tip is pray. Really, that should truly be first. From my perspective, when you pray, you're talking to God, you're conversing with Him, you're actually kind of releasing your worries, your issues, your concerns to Him. And that is probably the best, no, not probably, it is the best stress reduction tip that I could give you. So try to find some time in your day, or really throughout the whole day, to really release that. Converse with Him. He cares. And so that's probably the main stress reduction tip that I would advise. I am going to give you a bonus. This is a I was only going to do 7, but I actually have another one. And it is the wonderful act of, I'm going to show you, eating or consuming a small amount of dark chocolate. I'm not necessarily, saying this particular brand, but dark chocolate actually has chemicals in it. A small amount of dark chocolate actually allows you to reduce your stressors by secreting these chemicals within the dark chocolate. So I'm going to enjoy this piece of dark chocolate as I say goodbye. I thank you for tuning in to Healthy Mind, Body, and Spirit as we talk about stress and stress reduction tips. I truly do believe that participating in at least a couple of these activities to help you to reduce the stressors that you may experience. It may not go away completely, all the way, 100%, but it helps you to just deal with the everyday life stressors. And I truly do believe that when you're doing these techniques, that you are helping with the problem. I believe that the people who are closest to the problem are closest to the solution. So instead of looking outside of yourself and here, there, or wherever, consider, helping with your stressors by utilizing these techniques. Thank you. Power, Truth, Justice. It's TV Arwen.